This is Simon Torres, Arsenal supporter of Charm City Gooners. You are listening to DU Football Show, and I'm here to tell you that it could be worse. You could be an Everton fan.
Absolutely, it could
Yes.
be worse. You could be one of me.
Yes.
Or even better, you can be like my co-host who just decides to have a couple of beers and jump on Twitter all night, and everybody thinks that it's me talking to him, which
I
was
made it
pretty
clear
fucking brilliant.
very early on that it was just me, and I will not have you silence my voice
I hear you. I think
and apologize on my behalf.
I think our boy Chris with the Bayou City Iron said it best. He said it's like finding out your fucking your girlfriend's twin.
Yeah.
Brother, let's start the show. Hello and welcome to the Drunkard United Football Show, a completely biased recap of the English Premier League as told by two common American schmucks. I'm your host, Sam Houston, and I hate football. And across the way from me is my co-host, Samuel Graham. Sam, how you doing today?
Feeling triggered after what you just told me, to be fair. No, doing good. Everything's fine in old Arsenal land on this side of the room.
Cool. Excellent.
And I think on that side of the room in Villa land, it's also going very well. Whoop, whoop. I think the only one with a fucking issue is you, my friend.
Oh, I've got so many issues. Can't wait to discuss my issues.
Let's do that.
Are we going to talk about the headgear he's wearing or just let him be?
No, you might as well give it to him. Sam's donning the brand new Jepson's Malort yarmulke this week. Psych biker helmet, bandana. I don't know what it is. What is it?
Mute. Can I fucking start the goddamn show? Sorry, Russ. We're recording at Studio H just outside our nation's capital. You can check us out on all podcast platforms. Please be sure to subscribe, rate, review, and definitely share with your friends. And should you want to chat with us, there's many ways that you can. Sammy, why don't you tell the good people how they can get in touch?
Sure. We are at DU Football Show on all the social medias. That's Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. DUfootballshow@gmail.com to get in touch via email. And breaking news, we just set up a Patreon. So at patreon.com/DUfootballshow, you can become a supporter of the show. There's a couple of tiers. You get some add-ons, some benefits. And then there's one where you could just give us money and we don't really do shit about it.
So we can be friends with benefits.
Hey. So definitely check that out. We'd really appreciate it. Of course, whatever you can would be fantastic. But that's patreon.com/DUfootballshow. And there is some extra content, some stickers. And in a couple of weeks, hopefully after the international break, but we'll let you know next week for sure. We're going to be setting up a T-shirt store also online.
Yep.
So we'll have T-shirts for sale, stickers for sale, that kind of stuff. So yeah, just support the show and check us out. It'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. Just to add on to what Sam said about the Patreon, we do this because we love it, but also kind of helps. There's some bills that have accrued with doing this so far.
Yeah.
So
Just a few.
If you're able to support and help, we greatly appreciate it. But it doesn't mean we're not going to keep doing this. We in fact love hearing our voices into microphones, even when our teams suck balls. We still like to do the show. So. And if you do, there will be extra content. Like we're going to do something called Extra Time, and we're going to record more episodes for people who help support.
Just kidding. In about 6 weeks, we run out of money, so this is our telethon. Just kidding. Everything Sam said is true. What I said was not true.
So Sam and myself both work in the wine and spirit industry and both have a deep, passionate love for all things distilled spirits. So as the red-blooded Americans we are, we vow to have a drink in our hand throughout this show and every show. Sammy, we got something pretty special tonight. What you got for us?
We do. So we've got the Balvenie 12-year-old triple cask. It's a single malt whiskey, again, from the Balvenie distillery. This one's only available in the travel market. So I picked this up on the way back from my European travails. It starts off in first fill bourbon, so brand new American white oak, then goes into to traditional used bourbon casks, and then first fill sherry butt casks. At the end, an excellent little whiskey. It's going to run you about £7 for a mini. In the travel, about £70 for a 750.
Right.
I'm sorry, it's a liter. They only sell liters in this line.
Very nice. Well, it's very lovely. It's got a nice little sweetness to it. It's pretty good. Yes, and both of you are looking at me kind of confused right now. Since this is a audio medium, why don't you go ahead and tell everybody what I'm doing?
Well, what he's doing is stealing my bit.
Fucking right I am.
So I had talked about that if Aston Villa keeps losing, I almost call it Arston Villa. If they keep losing, I was going to make a cocktail out of Malort. I don't need to, and Sam Houston is just embracing the bit. So he has opened a bottle of Navy Hill soda and tonic.
The soda tonic blend, which we did over the summer with our gin binge we went on.
And he has poured it with Jepson's Malort and is making a cocktail.
That looked about 3 parts Malort.
I'm just
1 part
having
tonic.
I'm just having myself a refreshing Malort and tonic because it's what I fucking deserve, Sam. It's what I fucking deserve.
I'm glad I don't have to do this bit. That could not happen to a better person.
I also am not going to disagree.
See, I'm torn. I want to keep making digs at Everton for Taylor, but I have to live with Sam. So
Right.
how do I mock, what are they, third on the bottom?
We're
Second
18th
from bottom.
18th.
Oh, you're an
first.
18th. You are an 18th.
Even worse than I thought.
Yeah.
Without mocking my husband.
I do have to say the quinine completely takes care of the
bile.
The bile taste. It still tastes like earwax, but it doesn't taste like earwax threw up.
Well, maybe we finally figured it out.
I'm going to pour myself the Balvenie.
All right, well then, kids, let's go ahead and start the show.
do
Cheers,
that.
everybody.
You want to cheers a winner on this side of the table?
Yeah, no, you can keep
And-
your glass to yourself, Houston.
Bad luck might rub off or something.
Wow. Nobody likes me. Everybody hates me. I think I'm going to go eat some worms. One would say to be trepidatious.
What are you, Sean Dyche?
You all are terrible. I say a line, I go into my read. That means shut the fuck up and don't stomp all over me. But again, I got to remember, he just got back. He's still fucking feeling all feisty.
No, it's not
and
that.
needs to
It's
rub it all
what you're
over.
about to read. That got me feisty.
Okay, can I then
Yes.
at least read it?
Go
Thank
ahead.
you. One always says to be trepidatious when declaring someone champions in October, but it's clear there's a lot wrong with the competitors for the top flight of the table and not the one that's currently at the top. Brighton 3, Tottenham 0, Wolverhampton 2, Manchester City 0, Liverpool 2, Leicester 1. If Newcastle is a dumpster fire, Sam, and Man U is a shit show, then what the actual fuck are Spurs?
A bad team. I've been saying it for as long as we've been doing the show.
Really?
Get it out of the way. That was a terrible injury to Lloris.
Yes, absolutely.
It was a terrible decision from Lloris as well. Should have
Yeah.
just tipped over the bar.
Yep.
Instead, he didn't. Ended up dislocating his elbow, and we still don't know how long he's going to be out for. Never want to see somebody go down. That's horrible. That sucks. However, seeing Tottenham 1-0 down after 2.5 minutes was fantastic.
That was all Brighton, too.
Yep.
It wasn't like Tottenham ever got a foothold in the game. And losing your goalie shouldn't affect you that much. I just think it was them not being prepared as a side.
Yeah, I would completely agree with that. Neil Mulpay got that first one from the tap in, but Gazaniga, who came in, then spilled one from close range again, and allowed the teenager Aaron Connolly to turn in that rebound.
Yeah, the Irish lad getting two.
Full beard at 19 as well. Man after me own heart, that. And then he scored again in the second half after cutting inside. All around, it was a weak display from Tottenham. The possession was actually about even. And in terms of shots on target, Brighton doubled them up. And Tottenham were near full strength, besides obviously losing Lloris in the first couple of minutes. They were a near full strength side. I'm kind of confused about some of the team selection from Maurizio Pochettino, with Sissoko playing at right back. Kyle Walker-Peters wasn't even in the side.
Yeah.
It's just odd. I really don't know what to make of it. I don't know if there's some sort of bad blood there, but if you had a proper right back in there, I feel like there was a lot of space down the Brighton wings, because two central players were actually playing in those wide positions, and Aaron Moy, and I forget who's on the other side, but they tended to pinch in. And so you had freedom to run down the wings, and they just never used it.
And Moy's more of a central guy anyway.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, but they played him out of position, and he was naturally just pinching inside.
Right.
So you had that freedom, but it was Moussa Sissoko there, not a proper right back. So I don't know that he was looking for that space. You know what I mean?
There was a point of time I'm telling you, it was for 45 seconds. I rewound it and timed it, where Brighton is passing the ball around the pitch, and the fans are doing the "Oi, oi, oi" with every single touch, and they were doing that for 45 seconds. This is not what a team battling to stay out of the bottom does against a team that's supposed to be battling for a fucking title. They ran them off the field.
It brought a joyous tear to me, to be honest, watching that.
I'm sure it did.
No, but seriously, there's something. I said this a few weeks ago. There's something going on at Spurs that in the dressing room that we can't see.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. I don't know if Pochettino thinks he's taking this team to the max. I don't know if the players feel like, tired of listening to this guy. We need some fresh ideas, some newer ideas. If a couple of players had their head turned in the summer and they're just not giving it their all, they're just not into it because they really wanted to leave and they didn't get that move, at that point, you got to be professional, right? So I don't know what it is, but there's something that's not being reported. There's something that we don't know, and it's an underlying issue that is causing this team to not even give a shit. Their effort, they were completely lackadaisical.
Yeah, didn't care at all.
It was horrible. No, and this 3-0 to Brighton was after the 7-2 demolition by Bayern Munich and former Arsenal player Serge Gnabry.
10 goals in 1 week.
Right, and Serge Gnabry now has as many goals as Harry Kane does after one game at the new stadium than Harry Kane does in all the time there.
I know you've seen the memes that made you very happy.
Got to slide that in. But yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous. I don't know what it is, but maybe he just can't motivate them anymore.
It's not even just him motivating someone. Who on the field? I mean, come on, Harry, you're supposed to be this talismanic leader.
Right, where's the leadership? Yeah.
Why isn't anyone going up to their fellow players, grabbing them by the jersey and yelling at them?
Well,
screaming at them, what the fuck are you doing
Isn't
out here?
Vertonghen in the final year of his contract?
Mm-hmm.
I think Alderweireld's in the final year of his contract. Maybe Vertonghen's is his last two. Eric Dyer started for the first time in a long time because of the injury he had, the illness he was dealing with.
Yeah.
It was maybe appendicitis or something. I think he had to have surgery or a hernia. It was something like that. Anyway, but he started for the first time in a while. Why not go for wings?
Yeah.
Where was Ndombele really? Would pair him with a player he's never played with before, Brighton away? I don't know about
smart
that.
idea.
I don't get it. There was a lot of things that just didn't make a lot of sense to me, and those were Pochettino's decisions. And then you look at the players' demeanor; they didn't give a shit. Brighton, who can barely score goals in general,
scored 3,
doubled you in shots, just chances.
Yeah,
they doubled you up, and you're supposed to be the third best team in England, a Champions League finalist 3 months ago. Come on, there's something else going on there that we don't know about, and something's got to change quick. I would be worried if I was Poch. And I think he might get to the point where he leaves before they fire him.
Really?
If it continues, yeah, because all he's doing is damaging his own stock.
Right.
They're talking about him maybe taking over at Manchester United, potentially now, and fixing that situation.
I mean, did he feel like he needs to just completely ruin it at Tottenham before going to Manchester United so he feels I think justified in the move?
I think part of the problem was I think he wanted more players.
Right.
I think he wanted more investment in the squad in the summer, and he only got Ndombele.
Yeah, but also...
And they sold Kieran Trippier. So if you got Kyle Walker-Peters, there was no report that I saw that said he was injured. He's the only natural right back or wing back in that side, and they decided to go with Sissoko instead. And I saw no injury report that said Walker-Peters was out due to injury or illness.
But I also say, welcome to Tottenham. You know this coming into the job. You know this is not a team that's going to spend money.
Opening that stadium and paying for it and having the NFL pay off the other half of it for you.
Yeah.
I feel like that you should have had some money to spend. And with your Champions League money qualifying for the Champions League again, you got a little bit of credit with the financial fair play that you should have been able to attract some people. And the summer after the Champions League final, do you think anybody now looking at the situation is going to want to come? That was the summer to invest.
Right. Nobody's
hey,
gonna want
look,
to come next
you could
summer.
be part of this. You could kick us over the edge. You could help us win a first trophy in 11 years or 10 years, whatever it is. Yeah, and you could have that trophy be the Champions League. You could help us do this. Look what Pep did. City hadn't done shit but win a Premier League. They attracted a boatload of people, including Pep himself.
Right, true.
Right? So this was the summer for Tottenham to say, hey, we're a great a great proposition for you to come and stake your name, and you'll be able to get in the side, blah 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 blah. They already broke their wage structure with Harry Kane and Ndombele, both on around 150 to 200,000 a week. So they've already ripped up their wage structure. So what? Fucking go for it. Why not?
Yeah. Now,
now I'm loving watching them fall apart. It's fantastic for me as an Arsenal supporter. But if I was a Spurs supporter or a neutral, what the fuck are they doing over there?
Yep. So, moving on to City. City's best defender is a holding midfielder currently.
Did you see the double save he made?
Yeah.
The slide and then the rebound from a seated position. He headed it out for a throw-in. It's fucking brilliant.
Tough.
I love that.
Tough loss, for City, but the huge difference right there is at least in the case of City, despite the loss, you at least saw a team that put forth effort and tried. Like, Tottenham, there was nothing. And, Wolves did it right. They put them on their heels early. They had a couple of, they're unlucky to not be up at halftime against City because they had 3 or 4
they had
fast
a couple
breaks.
of chances. Yeah, absolutely. Jimenez was in and for whatever reason was reluctant to shoot. And Ederson recovered. Fernandinho recovered the one time we talked about and then got the rebound also. They had a fair few chances. And there was, I think, one of them early on was also Otamendi's fault.
Yeah.
As we got to the second half, later in the first half, early in the second half, City did start to turn the screw, and they did start to assert themselves. Rui Patricio was forced into 2 or 3 magnificent saves.
Yeah,
and
they just couldn't get the ball in the net.
They just couldn't. Right,
which
they
is
hit the post,
exactly the
once.
problem they had against Wolves the last time.
Correct.
Wolves at home last year played them really tough. It ended up being a 2-2 draw, but they played them really tough. Patricio made some big saves, kept them in the match.
I also think they hit the post or the crossbar in that.
Silva had a free kick that he put off. Put off the post.
Exactly. But then it came to Adama Traore in space, and the first one, Otamendi dove in for no reason.
Oh yeah.
And this is where the old wily defender is going to have a moment. Either you win the ball, or you take the man down.
Yeah.
One gets past you.
Not both.
Not both.
Yeah.
And he dove in like a sissy and missed both ball and man.
If that ball's going to get by you, you crack him.
You crack him.
You see your red
take
and
the
you
card.
walk off the field.
Absolutely. In that situation, the 80th minute,
you don't give up the goal.
Knowing you're down 2-1, you either get the ball or you put your shoulder in his chest and you lay him out.
Yeah, put him on the deck.
I think he had a defender trying to recover, so it might not have been a red. You know what I mean? You have to do something to stop this attack. With only 10 minutes left and as good as City is, you should have been committed to the cause. But he wasn't.
How about Traore finally doing what we've all thought he could do?
2 brilliant finishes.
Yeah, 2 great fast breaks, showed his speed, showed his size, his ability to not get knocked off the ball. We've been talking about him forever. Hell, we were talking about him when he was back with Sunderland. We would talk about him.
For the second goal,
yeah,
he ran past Fernandinho. When he picked that ball up, he ran past Fernandinho like he was standing still.
Also, in defense of Fernandinho, he's, what, a 35-year-old Brazilian, which
but
means he's really a 45-year-old Brazilian.
He had 3 or 4 yards to get ready for it as well. But then Traore looked up and was like, oh, shit. I've already done this once today. Let me do it again.
Yep.
And just put same exact spot. It was like a carbon copy of the goal.
Oh, it was the exact same goal.
It was absolutely
Both
brilliant.
goals were the exact same goal.
100% the same goal. And 2-0 to Wolves, and well done to him.
No fucking defense, man. They legitimately, they don't have a defense. They're going to be excited when John Stones comes back, for crying out loud.
City looks like they have Arsenalitis.
Yeah, that's a good call.
Everyone's
Absolutely.
excited about them going forward, but defensively, they look like absolute shite.
And, okay, so
obviously, I know they're better than us. You get my point. I mean, it was like Arsenal 5 years ago. And now, and 3 years ago, and 7 years ago.
Sam, you got to hear your own voice in your ears. You fucking loved that.
I
sure.
did.
You're over there rubbing yourself. Probably.
I did. I'm about to spew glory all over the net.
Yeah, we got to remember to have her isolate that one, the spew glory all over the net.
I need it from her, though.
Yeah. Oh, no. We can go back and
we got to go
isolate
get that
hers.
That was very funny.
That needs to definitely be a button, no doubt about it. You know what else needs to be is the button that we didn't just hit. No, you can just know. What? Talk.
I was just saying I wrote it down.
All right. Good.
Yeah,
Note taken.
That needed to be interrupted. Hit the fucking mute button, woman. Jesus. So, here's the issue that's going to be the problem now for City is now they're in a situation where they absolutely have to take 6 points from Liverpool now. You got to beat them both times. You want any chance at the title, you got to beat them. You have to beat them. But then
they didn't have to last season. All they had to do was wait for you to take a weight.
Yeah, I know. Well, we don't wait on us this year. We're not here to help you.
Exactly.
We have our own fucking problems.
No, you're right. I mean, the Liverpool. We said it last week. I mean, they're grinding out results as you would see a team do in March as they walked into the title in May.
Yeah.
This is a scary. They're already just fucking taking care of business. They're not switching off. They're not doing any of that. They're just, we got to go out here and by any means necessary, we're going to win this game.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about it in a minute. Obviously, the Mane penalty I think was a little bit soft. I can see why it was given.
Tramshamocracy.
But I do think it was a bit soft. I think in the center of the park, I don't know that that's a foul.
Yeah.
To be honest. But anyway,
but
yeah, City's going to need to turn the style on, and the way their backline's playing, Liverpool's front three is going to rip them apart.
Great. So like City comes out the next game, and I mean, I'm sorry, Brad Palace goes and beats them 8-0. Okay. Well, then what about the next fucking game? Like it's just they got to be able to turn it on and keep it on, and if it's not working, figure out a way to get a goal. Like very simple. Wolves packed it in and said, "We dare you."
Right.
And they attacked at the goal, but they couldn't get anything off. And when they try to take shots, everybody was so pushed into the box that if a defender got a block on it, it bounced out about 20, 25 yards out, and a Wolves player would just run onto it because they'd all be forward. There was just, is it maybe crack a few shots from the outside, try to loosen them up, and
draw them out a little bit.
But there was just nothing. There was nothing, and that's got to be looking at it and now going into let's go ahead and start to talk a little bit about Liverpool winning 2-1. You have a team that's clearly firing on all cylinders, is very aware of what happened last year, and is going to and right now looks like there's no way they're not going to win the title, unfortunately.
Right. I dubbed this game the Dentist's Derby. The guy that never goes to the dentist and the one that goes twice a week.
The one that has bright, shiny veneers.
And the other one who looks like World War III in his mouth.
Yeah.
So in this game, both teams really did start well. There were chances either side. But I think Leicester would have been the happier of the two sides in those opening exchanges. I think they had more clear-cut chances. And I think they were starting to turn the screw against Liverpool a little bit. Liverpool then...
Second week in a row, Liverpool did not look very good on the pitch.
Correct. But in typical Liverpool fashion, despite all of Leicester's chances, they were the ones that found the back of the net first through Mane after Johnny Evans. It was a great ball down that left side. Johnny Evans stretched for it, couldn't get to it, and it just put Mane 2-3 steps in front of him, or behind him, rather, towards the goal. And Mane cut in well and finished well near post. You got to think that Kasper Schmeichel wants that one back because it looked like it flew right over his right shoulder near post.
Yeah, he could have had that.
James Maddison came back from injury, which was nice to see. And he scored after a delightful pass from Ayoze Perez after they had both traded blows again for a long stretch. And then we spoke about it. Mark Albrighton bringing down Mane, touching Mane in the box and Mane going down.
Yeah.
VAR confirming the penalty. Again, he went down soft. I can see why it was given. And this, again, we draw attention to it. It's a fine line between a dive, which I kind of now am starting to contextualize as no contact at all.
Right.
And basically what taking a charge is in basketball.
Yeah.
You feel a little bit of contact to draw attention to yourself. You hit the deck.
Yeah,
because
you feel the touch go down.
How many times have we seen proper fouls that you don't fall over for that the ref just doesn't fucking call?
Right. Holds up its arms and gives you advantage because he thinks even though you're stumbling over your own 2 feet and the ball's in front of you, you still have control.
And never calls it back, even after you lose it or you shoot wide or what have you. So I could see why it was given. I'm not mad at Mane for going down. I don't think it was a blatant dive necessarily.
I would expect any one of my guys to do it. You would expect any one of your guys to do it.
Absolutely. But it's hard because there's no fine line here. You know what I mean?
But it's soft. It's soft.
It's very soft.
Oh, it's exceptionally soft.
I completely agree with that. I mean, so was Aubameyang's against Tottenham earlier in the year. I completely agree with that, where he missed the actual penalty. I agree with that. I'm not saying that, but I think we've reached a level now where if you don't go down, you're not going to get the call. So that's going to leave a little bit of gray area where if I feel contact, I'm going to hit the deck.
So I'm going to just use this as a teaser. We're not going to really discuss it right now to go into next week. So next week's international break, we are going to do a show just simply titled Fuck VAR. We are going to bitch about VAR nonstop because we're trying not to do it on this show. So we're going to do one show where we drink a bunch of Bucky, get nice and shit-faced drunk, and sing this the entire time. And maybe we talk a little.
We'll also talk about it.
But David Silva in the Wolves City game, inside the box, gets stepped on his foot. Yeah, I believe it was Dino calling that game. Doesn't blow the whistle.
I think it was Mike Dean.
Doesn't blow the whistle. In Liverpool and Leicester, Mane gets barely touched. He does get hit on the foot. He gets barely touched. No more or less than what happened to Silva. The referee does blow the whistle. Here is the ultimate inherent problem with VAR. VAR is afraid to tell a ref they're doing it wrong. Why? Because it's one of the refs on their off week in the booth calling the VAR. They are not going to call against their refs. They don't want to hurt their feelings. And because of that, you have two different styles of games being played, and it does affect the overall game.
This is why I say the referee himself, the VAR should alert him to a potential issue, and like in the World Cup, he should run over to the screen, and for subjective decisions, he should be looking at the screen himself and deciding.
Yeah.
For objective decisions, such as offside, which, yes, is annoying, that could be handled by the booth, no problem.
Oh, by the way, you know who was working the booth this weekend?
Who's that?
Everybody's favorite friend.
Oh, Kevin Friend was in the
Kevin Friend
booth?
was in the booth this weekend.
All right, so I've got actually Craig Pawson being the referee for City Wolves.
Okay, very good.
And Liverpool is right here. Scroll down. Chris Cavanaugh.
Okay, got it. But
Wow, Dino was the fourth official, though.
Oh, heard.
He's
Dino
probably
on the
talking
bench.
in his ear.
Yep. So
Oh, you got to give that.
So, anyways, we're gonna step away from that, but and like I said, we're gonna put a pin in it. Let's talk more VAR next week. But there's clear and obvious problems with it. So we also want all of you guys to send us your thoughts on it as well. Give us games, things you think about.
Part of the biggest problem for me is, and we'll talk about this in depth, but we've been practicing with this in the FA Cup for 2 years.
Think we'd have a good idea of what the fuck we're doing.
Then there were some English refs at the World Cup, right?
Yep.
So they did it. So I don't understand why there's so many growing pains.
Now let's get back into it.
So email us what you think, and we'll all talk about it.
So Liverpool, they can't seem to do no wrong right now. I mean, it feels. I hate it. I hate it. But this feels like a team of destiny.
It looks that way at the moment. Yeah.
Yeah.
They are finding ways to win that aren't the normal Liverpool style, and if they continue to do that, what I do like though, stoppage time, wily old James Milner, stone cold heart.
Oh yeah,
sends Kasper Schmeichel the wrong way.
Yep.
I like seeing the old people with the experience do what they got to do, and good on them for that. I mean, just as a sports generalization. I like seeing the guys at the tail end of their careers being trusted for the big moments, and that felt like a big moment, And we were tagged in a meme. Actually, it says when Liverpool wins the league in October, and it had Jurgen Klopp doing his 3 fists to the cop. Obviously, they had a bigger lead after Christmas last year and fucked it up.
Yes,
so Liverpool Nation wouldn't get too excited yet if I were y'all.
I mean, trust me, I'd love to see him bottle it up and screw it up. But I also, part of me, okay, go ahead and just finally fucking win one. Win one and be done with it.
Just get it over with.
Get it over with, because you're eventually going to win one. So fucking win this one, be over with it, and then we can all fucking forget about you again.
Mel, you heard it here first. Sam wants Liverpool to win the title.
Yeah, you fucking read into it whatever you want. But I mean, again, looking back, who's going to fucking take the title from them?
Well,
who's going to take the title from them?
It would have to be City, obviously. I mean, we're not going to catch them. That we can't sustain any sort of regular form. Tottenham, the problems that are. I mean, we don't know the problems that are there, but we can visibly see that there are problems that are there. It ain't going to be Leicester. I think that Sochuyu, or the Turkish defender they have, I think he's good. I think he's going to be very good in 2 years. I think he'll be world class. Manchester United will probably pay $150 million for him in 2 years.
But I also think, let's just quickly touch on to the Foxes. This is a top 4 side, at least the way they're playing right now.
It very well could be.
This
If
is a top 4
Chelsea,
side.
Arsenal, and Tottenham can't figure their shit out, it could be a third place side.
Yeah, they're that
They
good.
look solid.
They're
they
that
definitely
good.
look solid. They have a clear plan. They have a clear identity, and they go and play to their strengths, which is what we said under Puel they didn't do.
Yeah.
And it now seems like under old Gnarl Snaggletooth that they figured it out.
Yep.
I don't know why I couldn't figure out the word gnarly.
It was pretty tough for you. So 2 rebuilding projects, but only one seems to be actually rebuilding. Chelsea 4, Southampton 1, Newcastle 1, Manchester United 0. You couldn't even fucking win that game, could you, Man U? But first, let's go ahead and talk about Chelsea. All the young guns looking good. Hudson-Odoi is back. I mean,
as an American, I do worry for Christian Pulisic. Willian scored last week, played well in this game. Hudson-Odoi's now back, played well in this game.
Yeah.
Even Michy Batshuayi got a goal.
Yeah, Pulisic is going to be a sub right now at best.
For a wide man / forward, you got to, and Mason Mount obviously, doing the business. You got to worry about Pulisic's chances in the coming weeks. Now, he did come on and get an assist towards the end, but maybe it's going to be cameos for a while and let him find his legs in a new country and a new system and with the crazy English press.
Yeah, but he is not going to be starting right now.
No, I mean,
especially
you got to
with
think
Hudson-Odoi back, and then what happens then when Loftus-Cheek gets back healthy too, as well.
I mean, you got to think of the last few very successful Americans. Obviously, there was Brad Guzan who got shit on, but he was a goalkeeper, so it was a much different kind of shit on. You think of Tim Howard with all the praise he got playing for you all. You think of Landon Donovan, Clint Dempsey. Go back as far as Brian McBride. Even positivity coming out about Tim Ream was the only bright spot besides Callum Chambers and Fulham's team last year.
Yep.
And some of the things that they did. So he's going up against a 5 or 6 in a row that have gotten high praise from the English press. Mm-hmm. And now he's coming in and turning in, those first few weeks, kind of shite performances, to be honest.
Real quick, shout out to one Mr. Timmy Howard, who played his final professional game this past Sunday with the Colorado Rapids and is now retired. So happy retirement, good sir. You were an amazing servant for Everton. More importantly, you're a fucking national goddamn hero. Sorry, Russ.
Yeah.
No, you know what? No, not sorry, Russ. You're a national goddamn hero for our country.
Still holds the record for most saves in a World Cup game at 14 against the Belgians in 2014.
Yeah, there was very little that was going to get by that man. That entire
was
World
it 2014 or 2010?
14 too.
It was the Brazilian one.
Yeah, 2 ago. Yeah, the Brazilian one. So shout out to him on that. Now another little flub up by the Chelsea defense, but
it didn't matter.
But here's the thing: got to 2-1, they responded.
Oh yeah.
So far this season, when they have the adversity, they normally crumble. They end up drawing, which is what's been happening.
Now, fair enough to that.
Maybe a little growth starting to come out of Frank's boys.
And Southampton did have a decent start. And Tammy Abraham got that lucky goal where he was just really trying to flick it over the goalkeeper and then run onto it. It just happened to fly into the back of the net.
Right.
And a very unlucky goal line clearance where it had just crossed the net. I mean, he put his body on the line for the team. And that was very well done from the Southampton defender. It just had already crossed the line.
Yeah.
Wonderful near post shot from Mason Mount made it 2-0. And then Danny Ings with another relatively easy finish got, like you said, to 2-1. And you started to worry for Chelsea at that point. They kind of just stifled Southampton for a while. They kind of just played within themselves. Let's not do anything crazy. Let's just relax for a bit. And then grew back into the game and threw a deflected N'Golo Kante shot, went up 3-1.
Yeah.
And they then found the impetus to completely dominate the game for the rest. And then Batshuayi capped off a great win, basically, from a wonderful Pulisic pass.
A better team beating a bad team. is really what it comes down to.
Yeah, it was, but it was from the young boys, as you said. It was nice to see them find their composure. You know, I obviously I don't like Chelsea. I know you don't like Chelsea. You don't really have any particular grudge against them, but being
I
on the
still
London
don't like
team,
them.
it is nice to see somebody taking a chance on some young talent for a change. And you know, we spoke about McNeil when he broke through at Burnley last year. We spoke about obviously the two wingbacks for Liverpool when they Roberts I think is a little older, but Trent Alexander-Arnold.
Yeah.
We spoke about these young kids coming through, and it's nice to see somebody giving young English talent a chance.
Yeah, that normally wasn't the case. They would normally just get loaned out somewhere
Especially
in the championship.
at Chelsea. Yeah, especially at Chelsea.
Yeah.
So it's nice to see that their three best players are young Englishmen.
So in the case of the dumpster fire versus the shit show, dumpster fire wins.
Love seeing two brothers play.
Yeah.
First brothers for Newcastle since Shola and Sammy Amiobi.
Yeah,
Two club legends.
Let's face it. That's really the only story because the rest of this game by itself was a really drab affair.
The younger brother was on his debut too.
Yep, beautiful.
Yep, and Steve Bruce,
19-year-old on his debut.
and Steve Bruce used to play for Man U. First time in 23 attempts as a manager that he's beaten them.
No shit.
Yeah, so good on him. Actually, Matty hit the crossbar in the first half also.
Yep.
Almiron looked dangerous, but again, he needs to find that finishing touch.
He's got to score a goal here eventually.
Something's got to give for him. I mean, he's playing fairly well.
There's
but
lots of talent. He's fast.
Oh,
He's
my
good on
goodness.
the ball. He changes the game. The problem is he doesn't know how to put it in the back of the fucking net.
Yeah, I don't
And
know
he
what's
scored like
a lot for
28
Atlanta
in a season for Atlanta.
A lot, and he's had good chances that he just has fluffed.
It
just hasn't been good.
Mental block for him
Again,
right now.
Saint-Maximin, the Frenchman with the wild hair on the left side.
Yep.
Played very well again, running at people and just didn't think the occasion got to him one bit. You know, was just ready to take players on and made a lot happen. But I think he should have had a goal or two as well, cutting inside and shot wide a few times. Finally, United woke up a little bit, but a long-range effort from Pereira was all to really speak of until Harry Maguire had a free header that he squandered. I think that price tag might be floating over his head a little too much. I haven't been particularly impressed with him since he made the move.
I mean, but what is a center back supposed to do? You know,
He scored a couple of goals for Leicester, but he influenced more games than he didn't.
Right.
And right now, he's not even influencing games. They're getting their shit kicked out of him.
I don't want to give too much defense to it, but to him in particular. But like, let's go ahead and take the example that everybody's going to use is Van Dijk. Well, Van Dijk actually had pieces around him. Like,
I mean, that's fair enough.
Maguire doesn't have any pieces around him.
Right.
He's got a 56-year-old wearing the captain's armband playing out on the one side.
Yeah, but he had a 38-year-old in Johnny Evans.
Yeah, there's just nothing going right back there.
In footballing terms, they're the same age.
Yeah.
Saving tackles from DeAndre Yedlin. Good to see him fit again.
Great to see him
obviously,
fit
as
again.
an American. And then a man of the match performance for me from Fabian Schär. He was excellent.
Mm-hmm.
Cleared one off the goal line, and actually, little twinkle toes up there, following a corner to keep possession for Newcastle, sidestepping one or two Man U players. That was pretty good to see.
Do you think Brucey's going to go ahead and stick with the younger lineup now?
I think he's
going
going to have to at this point. Let him fail first.
Yeah, let the vets
Why not?
let the vets come in when there's a hardship or a bump in the road.
Yeah, they weren't doing anything to begin with. I mean, we've been laughing at them for the last 6 weeks.
Yeah, well,
So-
they keep playing John Joe Shelby, and John Joe Shelby doesn't like to defend, yet he's put at defensive midfielder.
All I'd love to see is that old Jetro Willems got an assist out there.
Yep, good old
And,
Jetro.
He pulled back for old Matty Longstaff, and Matty Longstaff put it in pretty good, didn't he?
You are really proud of yourself,
I
aren't
am.
you? You're
Like
a
that.
thespian, aren't you? Now, one thing worth noting:
I
St.
love
James,
his name is Jetro Williams.
St. James Park not sold out.
No, well, to be honest, I mean, you're basically watching Newcastle play a championship side, so
Oh damn!
drop the gauntlet. Did get some good feedback from Ray.
Oh yeah, what did Ray have
fuck
to say?
Man United.
Very great, very very great feedback. Rounding up the rest of the league, and so that happened. Aston Villa 5, Norwich 1, Arsenal 1, Bournemouth 0, Crystal Palace 2, West Ham 1, fucking over both of our bets.
Yep.
Watford 0, Sheffield United 0, and Burnleying Everton 1-0. So, Sam, real quick, Sam, eyes with me. We are doing Aston Villa, Norwich first.
No,
Norwich
I checked.
First.
I checked this week.
No, shut your mouth. I want to make sure everything's right. I don't want you to go talking about other games.
No.
Arsenal 1, Bournemouth 0, number 2. Number 3, Crystal Palace, okay? Number 4 is the Watford draw, and number 5 is Burnley and Everton. Do you understand it now?
Got it, Dick.
Okay, very good. Just need to keep an eye on you because clearly you weren't fucking paying attention last week. So
I didn't read your rundown, and I put the games in my order, and the scores were the scores in a row, and I saw 2-2, so I just started talking shit.
alrighty. So welcome to the Prem Villains.
Woo!
Man, that was fun.
Welcome back. That was awesome. Jack Grealish finally getting off the mark. It was great.
Yeah.
The only downside, I'd say, is the Tyrone Mings goalkeeper mix-up
Yeah.
for the Norwich goal. Other than that, they played a perfect Wesley should have had a hat trick, missed the penalty.
No, yeah.
Oh, he
That
choked
sucks.
on that.
Yeah, that sucks. I mean, it was a good save from the Norwich goalkeeper.
And he did a good follow through.
Yeah, and the Norwich goalkeeper saved it again.
Yeah, that guy. Was
So that was fine.
How
but-
many times do you see that though, where somebody's on a brace and there's a penalty and they're not a normal penalty taker?
Yeah, fair
and you
enough.
put them up there, and how many times does that person blow it?
Fair enough.
Almost every time.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. Robert Perez never did, but I take your point as an old Arsenal player.
We know that. We know you're going to take any opportunity and bring it back to your pro Arsenal agenda. We know this.
Correct.
I gotta say, it was tough in the Houston household because while
can imagine.
that game was going on, I'm in the bedroom watching on the iPad. I can hear him cussing and screaming from the living room because both games were played at the same time.
Yeah.
So I had to keep my celebrations to a minimum.
That would be until the goal was scored. And guess what happened when the goal was scored? Well, I mean, we'll get to the Everton game
You
soon
scared
enough.
the chickens.
I stopped talking. I shut up. I just watched this game and went, okay, well, that's how it's
I had
going
to
to
go
go.
out and check him a couple of times.
Yeah. So,
Damn. Well, anyway, the first goal, Wesley had great movement, balance, and composure. Kind of befuddled the defense, found a half a yard,
Yep.
took it off his chest, took an extra touch to take another defender out of it, and then fired home. So that was good to see from him. And then really, I mean, Jack Grealish's goal was a lot harder than it looked on television.
Right.
But not a lot really to talk about there. What I'd like to talk about is Douglas Luiz.
Yeah.
Stand up and be counted, son. What a goal. It's too bad it was the fifth, wasn't it?
Yep.
I think it was the last one. Oh, my goodness. the arc, it was
Little
gorgeous.
curve,
Oh,
just
yeah.
You could have held it in the corner any better than that.
Textbook.
Oh, yeah. It was brilliant. I mean, all the physics. All of the physics.
So good.
Neil deGrasse Tyson got a boner from that goal. That's all I'm saying.
So Villa, good on Villa. Looks like they are finally getting comfortable into their role here in the Prem again. Norwich, since
There's a problem there.
beating City. Now, granted, I know they're thin. I know they're injured, but still, they were thin and injured when they beat City.
What they
Yeah,
say?
yeah, that's a bullshit. I saw someone trying to do that on Twitter. That's a bullshit excuse.
Didn't they say 4 or 5 of their players were like playing with pain-killing injections?
Yeah,
and
so
all sorts
what?
of stuff. I mean,
same thing last week.
listen, if you've ever played sports, and I've obviously never played at this level, but even in high school, I'd have to pop 4 or 5 Tylenol before a game just so I could keep my place in the team.
Yeah.
In college, I've had to do stuff. I've played with an entire roll of tape, a pound of tape on my body.
Yeah, you just
Like
get through it.
You get through it. You figure it out. And I don't think that it's an excuse. If you can't go, then if you're going to hurt your team, then sit the fuck down. Because I'd rather take an 18-year-old at 100% than a 26-year-old veteran at 40%.
Right, precisely.
And if you're going to use this to fall back on as an excuse, then let's hope everybody heals up for the championship next season.
Yeah,
because
let's
it's a longer and much more grueling season.
yeah, hope
But
you're healed for that.
That's a fucking scapegoat.
I think we're starting to see the Norwich side that I thought we were going to see. I thought we were going to see a team that was going to have glimpses of brilliance as far as offense would go, but ultimately would struggle in the league. And I think we're finally seeing that.
Yep.
And, I think we're starting to see that too in the case of Sheffield, which we'll get to in a moment. But your game, Arsenal, Bournemouth, I mean, other than the goal, again, kind of a drab affair.
Well,
Really,
it
started lively.
The opening exchanges were great. as we said, it looked like Bournemouth away from home. They were going to sit back a little bit and then try to counterattack, and then we would be shaky at the back, and all that would happen.
Right.
And we had an early try to play out from the back fuck up that luckily this week didn't result in a goal. So that was all, well and good and kind of to plan, to be honest. And then the most Brazilian header of all time. Jogged up to it, a little samba on the way, kind of jumped up, just kind of flicked a little
And
bit.
The hair flopped with it as well.
And caught everyone fucking wrong-footed and dribbled into the far corner.
Yeah, where you just
It
go,
just-
oh, fuck
Yeah,
off.
it was just like, you went one way and then he kind of flicked it around you and then you fell over and you're like, you got to be fucking shitting me. I mean, it was a very Brazilian header.
Oh, it's one of those ones as a goalie where you get tree trunked, your
Yeah.
feet get set in the ground, and you just slowly watch it roll in, and you're
You're
like,
just I
dive,
come, please move.
dive, please.
Nothing.
You just watch it, and you're just like, you just throw your arms
Son
back
of a
and your
bitch.
shoulders go down. You're like, fuck.
Yeah, it was, and I don't know if it's because the poor defensive start we've had, but the spirit seemed to be good. The entire team, apart from Bert Leno, piled on top of David Luiz.
Good.
And that can only be positive, right? Because in his total time at Chelsea, he gave away 4 penalties over the 2 stints.
Mm-hmm.
He had already given up 2 so far this season in the first 8 games.
Right.
And he missed the first one.
Gotta let him know he's loved. Let him know he's loved.
And
let him know he's part of the team. Let him know he's there.
Correct. And so that for me looked good.
Yeah, that's good.
And a positive sign. We still have defensive issues. Albeit we kept a clean sheet. I'll take that and maybe we can build from it. But there were still some things that I'd like to see change.
Second half, Bournemouth had an opportunity that they should have put away.
Correct.
Absolutely should have put away.
I think we need to sit Nicolas Pepe.
Yeah, I'm not going to disagree with that.
Take him. I don't think we should drop him. I don't think we should loan him out. I'm not like some of the crazy Arsenal Nation I've seen on the internet.
Hey,
Mel, this is what I've been talking about. We have Emery out. We have Pepe out. We have 3 hashtags trending on Twitter that are anti our players at the moment from our own fans. So what I would say is my point is that Pepe is in a new country, new language, different style of football, different system, different pressure, and the press is a rabid animal.
Yeah.
I think for 2 weeks, sit him, take him out of the firing line, give him 2 weeks of training with no criticism. Let him just wake up in the morning, eat his fucking eggs, and not have to read 3 pages of shit talked about him. Let him come back in against a weak opponent, and let's see what the fuck happens. And I guarantee you, he'll score an open play goal.
Yeah, just let him grow into it, and he'll get there. And the other key thing too is, hey, look, Arsenal fans, you got to realize you are locked into this guy for the long haul. You are paying for this guy over
for the next 6 years.
You're like, yeah, so you need to get used to him, and you need to give him a little support, and you need to realize it's like, I mean,
we got one of those new American middle class 7-year car loans.
You don't
we can buy
hear
cars
us.
we can't afford.
You don't hear us booing Moise Kean. Everybody says the same thing. He's 19. He's got to grow into the position. He's gonna, he's got to learn. He's got to learn this country. It's just different. It's okay. Well, how does that not apply for a 24-year-old who's,
Correct.
What 5 years suddenly makes a difference? No, it doesn't. Not coming to the Prem. It's just different. So,
And as we said earlier, don't know how we're doing it, but after 3 or 4 shitty performances in a row, we find ourselves a point behind City in 3rd place.
I know. Holy crap! Sitting in 3rd place right now.
But I think we're still 9 points shy of Liverpool. Like, there's no chance. There's no chance of the title, and I'm not saying that.
Right.
We find ourselves in a good position, but I wonder if it's just now we're looking at the best of the rest, starting at 3rd.
Right. Yeah. Could be.
What I mean?
Currently, yes, that could be the situation. Now,
Because really, we talked about it before. There's the top 2. Then there's 3rd through 6, typically. Obviously, Manchester United shit in the bed. Crystal Palace are going to lose that place eventually. And then there's 7th on, right?
cool.
Do we agree on that?
Yep. And
Yeah.
you just answered my question going into the next game. Is Palace for real?
No.
I'm
Sorry, Brad. Quite simply, no, they're not.
I'm amazed they're figuring out a way to do it, considering that the season started kind of in turmoil for them with will or won't they keep Saha. They didn't really spend any money. They sold Basaka. Like,
Well,
it
I'm
just
going to
seemed
say
like
there's
what the
part of
fuck's
the
going to happen.
I'm going to say
and-
there's part of the problem. I think Saha's going to leave in January. I
Yeah.
think somebody like Manchester United is going to be like, "Fuck, what do we do? We're still in 12th." And Palace, here's 120 million for somebody we know costs 35, and they're going to buy him to fix it.
Yeah, because we need it now. And
He got shut out at Newcastle.
Yeah, yeah.
And again, I stand by everything I said on Twitter, even though I got scolded for talking to people.
Mm-hmm.
It was a drab-ass game, Manchester United and Newcastle, and the quality of football was worse than us and Man United, which I said was shit. Agree?
Agree.
Thank
Fair
you.
enough. So, West Ham, outside of the beating Manchester United lately, it's been a couple of draws, a cup loss, this loss. So, I feel like they're not taking advantage of the opportunities that they should be getting right now.
Well, I think Declan Rice was, again, unfortunate to find his arm in that position.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where he didn't know anything about it.
Yeah.
The ball was coming over the top, and it was headed back into him, and he was just kind of turning, trying to keep his balance.
Yeah.
I think last year, he didn't have time to react to it. I think last year, that's not a pen. VAR this year, it is a pen.
Yeah.
That being said, the referee did point to the spot immediately. Didn't waste any time. He did exactly what he was supposed to do. Went to the letter of the law, fine. I just feel like that might not be a pen.
Okay. Yeah, I agree.
He didn't have. I mean, the ball came in from less than a foot away from him as he's turning, right?
Yeah.
Just trying to keep his balance. I don't know.
Yeah.
Who's to say what a natural arm position is? You know what I mean?
Well, apparently on an offensive side, if the ball just grazes you in any way, shape, or form, it's an automatic handball if it's in direct
Right.
result to a goal. So
So other than that, I mean, Palace played well. Long VAR deliberation for Jordan Ayew's goal, checking 2 different offsides, and they were both spot on.
yeah, well done.
Yep.
So I will say the following: Watford played Sheffield United.
I'm going to say that there was only 5 shots on target in total. I fell asleep during the highlights, but just before I did, Andre Gray should have scored against an open net, but he blazed over in spectacular fashion.
I think that about covers it all very well. So
Now the meat and potatoes.
well, not so much. We got to keep this thing wrangled in. We are going long today. We got Burnleyed. You know, this is what Burnley does. We went to Turf Moor. We went down a man. We got Burnleyed. But you know what? I'm not going to do this alone. I'm not doing this alone. Let's go ahead to Upside Down World, and let's call in our boy Tim, who is our Aussie Everton supporter that you weren't around to do a show with because you were off, like vacationing with your family and not worrying about priorities like this show.
Yeah, I was not here, but I do need to say, I like this background music.
Can you let the phone ring?
Well, I want to.
You can say it in a moment.
I'm doing some filler.
No, the music's fun. It's the only happiness I have in my life.
Alan danced when we had the music.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Dance. Get it.
Look at you, Night at the Roxbury. That's really terrible.
You like that?
No.
It's like I'm
not
twitching.
Not very good at all.
All right.
Not very good at all.
So when he doesn't answer, you're going to wish I filled.
Okay, well, go ahead and fill.
All right. So my thing is, did you know that Ashley Barnes played for Austria?
No, I did not.
Me either. He's English born, so there must be some sort of grandparentage there from Austria. But unlike Josh King from Bournemouth, because that guy was actually born in Norway. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah. So apparently Ashley Barnes is an Austrian international.
Still ringing. It takes a while to get to Australia.
Yeah, that's true. We actually have to hit 4 satellites to get there.
Mm-hmm. Do we really, or are you just making
I don't know.
bullshit?
Now with the new tariff, we might have to pay Trump some money to get there.
Heard.
There might be new tariffs on internet signals.
Fabulous. So, hey. Hi, Tim. How are you?
I'm good. How you going?
I want to jump off a bridge. It's going really great.
You told me we were getting Tim Cahill on.
Yeah. No. No. But it's an American in Australia, not an Aussie in Australia. Although we could use some Tim Cahill right now because at least there'd be
a
some
lot of Tim Cahill. A lot.
Some inspiration and life into this side. Sam, while I have Tim here, I want to say the following. We jokingly call Newcastle a dumpster fire. We call Manchester United a shit show. And one might want to say, hey, what do you call us? Nothing. We don't deserve to be called anything. Because in the case of Manchester United, right, they at least were once great. and it's falling apart, so it's a shit show. In the case of Newcastle, it's this crazy fucking owner that's destroying a once popular. No, you shut the fuck up. I'm talking right now.
They were also runners-up one time.
Daddy's got the fucking floor. I say nothing about us because our ownership.
Daddy. He dropped the daddy line on you.
Fucking mute button. I'm telling you guys right now, we have a good owner. We have an owner that wants to spend money. He wants to support this club. It's not like we have some has-been manager or a fucking Norwegian phys ed teacher. We have this kind of good-looking, charming Portuguese guy that's perfectly fine. I'm apathetic to everything. It's like this is a team that just doesn't fucking care. Team doesn't care. Coach doesn't care. Why should I, as a fan, care? Why should I fucking care? This team doesn't seem to want to do anything. Our coach doesn't want to try new systems. Our players, I'm watching our outside backs go down the field and just put up crosses, and it looks like they're putting up crosses because they were told by their coach to put up crosses. It doesn't even look like they're trying to create anything.
Yeah.
Tim, welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us from the other side of the world.
Tim, I needed to scream, and I needed someone to fucking hear it. Thank you.
I hear you.
Yeah, I barely paid attention, so glad you were here. I just, real quick, I'm going to say my piece, and then I'll let you two discuss the very enticing questions I have laid out for you. First, it's very unfortunate for Seamus Coleman.
You know what? It was 2 professional fouls. It was 2 yellow cards. It should have been a red. He
was really apologetic both times. The first one especially. He's not that type of player.
Oh, he got his leg broken that way. So of course he was. He was very aware of what happened.
I don't know why he makes the second one.
The
quite
second
right.
challenge.
I understand going for the
strange.
ball, but he didn't need to make that. It's in the middle of the field.
Yeah.
There's cover behind him. It was just kind of like, why did you do that?
Well, and really, he just flicked it on.
Yeah.
If he had stayed off of him, he probably could have gathered on the chest and just made it into an attack, and started to counter. So, with you guys finding yourselves in the relegation zone, just 7 points from 8 games, I want to know, is it time to bring back Big Sam, since he's obviously still on the payroll?
I am going to strike that from the record. We are not allowed to ever talk about that. That is a season of Everton football that needs to be put in the lock vault and never spoken of again.
The only Big Sam they should bring on to coach the team is the Big Sam talking on the mic right fucking now. Allardyce does not exist.
How about Alan Pardew? He's available. No?
Yeah, no.
All right. Doesn't tickle your fancy? Tony Pulis is out of a job. What do we?
That's a surefire way to go down.
What do we need here?
Oh,
and Steve McLaren's there.
Yeah, no,
Available as well.
realize,
I think you could probably snatch him from QPR.
You realize, Big Sam, that we deserve this, right? This is the level that we're talking at. Like, we're talking about these people.
Yeah. People are going, oh, Jose Mourinho. Why the fuck would he want to manage us?
And lastly, my last point about this game is, should it just be fucking anyone other than Silva?
I don't know.
You threw your own hat in the ring, mate. Y'all are desperate.
And
I will let you two discuss.
Yeah.
Well, here's my take on it. Here's
Please.
the thing. Like, in American sports, football, baseball, all that, managers tend to last a long time, even when they aren't doing well.
Because there's no relegation.
Right. There's no relegation. There's not, and we get this sense that, we'll give them time. We'll give them 3 years. That does not happen in this league. So when you lose 4 in a row, you're likely you're on the hot seat, no matter what. It doesn't matter if you get the backing of the board or not. You lose 4 in a row, you're in the hot seat. So there's no reason that you can understand why everybody's talking about this.
Of course.
Absolutely.
And there's 52 games that he's played, and this is the time, 52 games that Narco Silva's been at, and he got fired last time he had 52 games as a manager. So, I mean, there's a legitimate, and the press is totally different.
And that was also your fault.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was also our fault, yes.
It was around Christmas, if I remember correctly. You distracted him from the job he was trying to do.
I mean, the other thing is, you have to look at the owner trying, and he brought in Marcel Brands. If you scrutinize Marcel Brands the same way you do the manager. He let our best player go,
Yeah,
who, by the way, hasn't lost a game for PSG. He sent our best young right back, to the Bundesliga.
Yep.
If
he's successful.
Oh yeah. So if you scope down and you're like, and his job of getting young talents and making them shine, like, you can't do that at this level in the Premier League. That's not the only thing you do. You've got to have some kind of depth that you have to. You can't just rely on 5 up and comers from League Two.
Yeah, true.
You've got to. So if this is a Silva out type of idea, if he's going to go, then Brands has got to step up his game as well, in a sense. But you have to flip the coin as well and say our 2 best midfielders are out.
Yeah, well, of course.
And Gomez, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And
Gomez finally got to play.
It's been horrible. Yeah, exactly. But so I mean, maybe you get that resurgence again.
So the Norwich,
and you don't hear
that's
the
what you're
players.
going with?
Yeah. You don't hear the players saying, Silva. They all love this guy. So it's just this dichotomy of like, what are Everton? Well, we're vanilla. We don't even have sprinkle.
I guess that's just the go-to defense for teams that lose to Villa.
Okay, so Sam, I thought you said you're going to be quiet. So anywho, the notion to take something from locally with the Washington Redskins yesterday, Jay Gruden after the game.
Thank God.
So yesterday, when interviewed, Jay Gruden said, "I'm going to show up Monday. If the key card works, I'm going to go in and do my job." Well, Marco didn't get fired. He didn't get fired, and so clearly Marco's going to have the job, and he's going to have it for at least the next couple of weeks with West Ham and Tottenham on the horizon, which I want to say are winnable games because they're both not playing particularly fantastic, but we're not playing particularly fantastic either. But I mean, who do we get? If we're going to get rid of Marco, Tim, who do we get?
Yeah, well, that's the ultimate question. And, the only thing that I think you can do if it just gets so tenuous that he can't stay is you have to do what you did before. You have to bring in a manager that sits there for a year. But the thing is, like, you look at other teams, like when West Ham fired, what's his name? Within 2 weeks, they had another manager.
Yep.
Right?
Slaven Bilic was his name.
Yeah, Bilic, former Everton guy. And
he's now at West Brom, too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and by the way, 2 weeks later, they had a coach. How long did it take us to go get him who shall not be named?
Yeah.
It took us a month.
Yeah.
A month.
Well, fair
to
enough.
decide on that guy.
And there's my legitimate question. I'm
who
done.
Who are you going to bring in?
I'm done poking fun. Firing him would give you 2 weeks of freedom to find someone.
Well, and we didn't do it today, which means he's keeping his job.
Right. If you did it, he would have known last night. It would have hit the press this morning.
Yeah, he would have been fired this morning. He would have been gone.
I think you're stuck with him till probably Christmas, to be honest.
Absolutely, we are.
And when that happens, who do you get? Because somebody in the championship is going to lose their job. Tony Pulis is going to get... I'm being serious.
Yeah.
As a firefighter, Tony Pulis is going to get snapped up. You're going to find these people. So do you just do what United did and hope the interim guy can get you to the end of the season? And who is that interim guy?
Well,
because some of these free managers...
I know Big Dunkel puts the light of fire under people.
There you go. That's what Sam said. Yeah, that's what Sam said to me in the car today during our pre-show meeting. Because I worry that some of these managers with experience are going to get snapped up by teams that pull the trigger faster. Right?
Yeah.
So then what do? Then you're stuck with, shit, who do we get? Ronald Koeman? Nope, sorry, he's at the Dutch national side now. He's no longer out of a job. Louis van Gaal, he's naked in the Algarves on his deck. Yeah. What do we do, right? So and Big Dunk would probably be the guy, in my opinion. I mean, the only other thing is you really would have a longer injury list than Norwich, but not from the games or training. From Big Dunk putting a boot in her ass.
Oh yeah, well, that's true. That's the one thing I think it's still going to be Silva, and I think it's still going to be Silva for a while, and I have some faith that he might actually fix it.
I mean, this is an Everton tale, isn't it? It happens every year.
Oh, yeah.
We sink a little bit, we come up, we finish 8th, You know what I mean? Like, this is, I'm not necessarily worried about it. I think any of the managers you were to put in now would do the same thing that Silva can probably do. You don't see the fallout that you see with a Jose Mourinho and stuff like that, where players don't like him and stuff. That's not happening. So I mean, he's as good as anybody else at this point, and you might as well stick with him and get two of his prime players back. And one thing I think he needs to do is sit Gylfi Sigurdsson.
He
has not been good.
Agree more.
He has not been good. He has not played well. He has not created. I mean, you got to sit that guy and say, listen, until you prove to me that you're the man you were last year, you're not in.
There's my last question for you, real quick. Is why is Sigurdsson still playing? And Sam has already expressed this to me privately. Why not Tom Davies? You lack the energy, it seems, at times, to turn the screw and go forward. And the one thing that little blonde cunt has is fucking energy.
Oh, yeah.
Why is he not on the field just ripping people's hearts out and scoring goals?
Yeah, just running around.
Why can he not get a game?
He doesn't have the same pictures that Gylfi has of Marco. I mean, that's the only reason. It's the only reason I can think of. It's the same way that Walcott kept getting a run. I'm like, somehow
he got knocked out by a cross. You're good with him.
I
for a
know.
while.
I'm just saying. Like, it took
it's
that to get him to sit on the bench.
Hey, Tim. Here's another question. Then, one striker isn't working. Why the fuck aren't we going with a 2-man team? Why aren't we going with Moise Kean and Dominic Calvert-Lewin at the top and going a 4-4-2?
And you're getting beat in the midfield a lot. Why not a 3-5-2?
All right, let me. I asked Tim a question. Let Tim actually answer it.
Well, I think that Silva wants to play his 4-3-2 or 4-3-3 style. That's what he's good at.
Yeah.
But he hasn't quite had the players to do it. And then two of his main players who would play in that role are hurt. And so I think eventually you will see Gylfi sit. I said it earlier in the season. I think you'll see Gylfi sit, and you'll see that 4-3-3 by the end of the season being played regularly by Marco. And I think that's what he wants. And Gylfi doesn't really fit that mold, and he's not Marco's player. So I think that's what you see by the end of the season.
Yeah, I also wonder if Gylfi, when he was with Swans, did better in a more reserved role. He seemed to pass the ball better in that classic 4-4-2 style instead of being that, the false nine.
Yeah, because it was a diamond midfield and he was free. He could do what he wanted.
It almost feels like he's right on top of the striker the entire game, which means he really can't do anything. But again, I still think he should be benched, but I also think he's not being played properly as well.
Absolutely. And not to be a dick about it, that's the same problem with Ozil.
Yeah.
The manager's system does not fit that player. So he finds himself on the outside. Problem is, I think
you
Silva
found a way to relate that back to your team.
Yes, well done, Tim.
I think but I'm being serious. I think Marco Silva is getting more pressure from above to play Gylfi than Emery is.
$45 million signing.
Right. Than Emery is getting from above to play Ozil. Right. So instead of the manager changing his philosophy and putting his best 11 out in a formation that works, he's just going to do what the fuck he wants. Where your club, for whatever reason, is saying, listen, you're going to fucking do this. End of story. I don't care what you say. He's playing.
Yeah, and that's another thing. You can look back at Mr. Brands there and say Gylfi had one of his best seasons last year, but he's old. So he's getting older. So in a sense, you could have sold him for something high and put Tom Davies in there to learn and do his job in a sense with more energy, which is what you're famous for.
Yeah.
He's a
here we
good
are.
player, Davies. Yeah. He's a good player.
Do exactly what you did with Idrissa Gueye. Sell high at an older age. Like, why didn't you even think of doing that with Gylfi?
You forced Burnley to get Jay Rodriguez back. You could have sold Gylfi over there with his good friend Goodmunson.
Yeah. So, Tim, as we wind this down, and I've poured my shot of Malort here that I'm getting ready to take. In the world of zonal marking, why is the back post never actually considered a zone to
I think
cover
they think that the back post
marking?
is actually going to cover the player. I think that's what they think.
Okay.
Like they think that the back post is going to jump out and cover Luke Hendricks, right?
Because that's not because there was one of those in the first half too. That Pickford had to
I
come
know,
across to save.
Yes.
So
Exactly. I don't it's so funny because it happened last year. We got the same thing. Like, this is the Everton story. We were terrible, and everybody said, "Well, give him a chance to get all the and then we were great. Like, they figured it out.
yeah, how did
know?
that not translate into this season, especially a season which, let's face it, I have no problem, Sam. Honestly, looking at what we were at the start of the season, going into the season. Okay, so maybe at Burnley we draw, maybe at Bournemouth we draw, we lose to City. Why isn't this team 5-2-1?
Yeah.
Right.
Our first loss of the season should have been 2 weeks ago to City. That
feel
should have
you.
been our first loss of the season.
Really.
And right
Yeah.
now we have one fucking win to show for it.
I remember their first loss of the season.
Yes, hit the fucking mute button. You're not allowed to talk right now,
Well,
woman.
as you take your shot, one thing I do want you to cheers to, and I know that we can all be happy about, is that a lot of Irishmen did score. Jeff Hendricks, Hourihan, and a few others,
Connolly.
actually.
Connolly,
Connolly
yeah.
twice against City.
All right, you know what I'll
Or
toast to?
against, no,
you know,
against,
you know what
who
I'll
did Brighton play? Oh, Spurs.
Forgot. You know what I'm going to toast to? I'm going to toast to you, Irishman. Don't play for your fucking national team. You'll end up getting a season-ending injury.
Oh, and by the way, Crystal Palace, who we drew and had a ongoing saga with Wilfred Zaha, is in fourth place.
Yeah, exactly.
Are they in fourth?
It's in
Maybe not, but they were
fifth.
up there.
They're in fifth.
I'm going to look.
Fifth. Oh, okay, fifth.
Leicester's in fourth. You're in third. Leicester's in fourth. Palace is in fifth.
Live admin.
Yeah, it just... Tim, we know we're going to figure this out, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, you're going to
y'all will
finish
figure
seventh,
it out.
eighth,
That's why I'm poking
maybe
so much
ninth.
fun.
You know, but the hard part is
But this is always the great blue hope, right? You get all these players, right?
Yep.
You get all these players. Your heart bleeds blue. You're like, yes, we go into the season. Everton has hope. We have these good players. We have money with and we're going to finish eighth and out of Europa.
So Everton is like Eminem, is the great white hope, is the great blue hope, huh?
yes, exactly.
Anyway, Crystal Palace is in sixth on goal differential because Chelsea is +4. Crystal Palace is evens.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Now,
Oh, great.
the really hard thing to swallow is going to be the fact that we're having the season we're having, and I hate to say it, it looks like the fucking red shite might not bottle it up this year, Tim. They might actually fucking win the thing.
Well, I mean, Man City's sure helping them out there, and that's the thing. Like, you consider the framework for how EPL works. If Pep loses 4 or 5 more games this season and they finish third, fourth, you think he's sticking around?
No, he'll go.
That's a
No,
shout.
Mansour's going to send him packing because that's
shout.
the culture there.
Yep.
Mate, that's a shout.
Uh-huh.
Them finishing third or fourth with that attack, that's a shout.
Yeah.
Even if they win every game 4-2, 4-3, like we thought Norwich would do, or lose every game 4-3, that's a shout still. That's the best manager in the world over the last decade. I don't think you can get rid of him like that.
I don't know if he'd want to stick around.
Well, that's fair enough. He might leave. He's in a pot situation.
Be like, well, I haven't conquered Italy yet. Let me go there.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no problem. Maurizio Sarri's going to die of cancer anyway, and go take Juventus in 2 years.
All right. Well, Tim, enjoy Upside Down World where your day's just begun and our day is ending. And
I'll send you the betting lines because I live in the future.
perfect. Thank you. Thank you so much for commiserating with me. I needed that. I just needed someone to talk to because these two fuckers sure as hell weren't going to let me.
I'll
get
dry
away
your
with it.
tears off my shoulder.
Hey,
We'll be
Thank
all
you.
right.
Thanks
I
for letting me
appreciate it.
poke some fun at you, man. Good to talk to you because I missed the show when you were here last time.
That's because my
Oh,
co-host
yeah.
doesn't care about the show.
So
Yeah,
so I was on vacation with my family, mate. But cheers, man. Thank you for calling in. I know you're probably still wiping the sleep out your eyes.
Oh, no, it's good. I've had my first cup of coffee. I'll go get a second one here. I might put a little extra in it this time.
Hey, hey, listen, you got to go to work. Keep the whiskey out of it.
All right.
Yeah,
well,
all right. Fair enough.
thanks, Tim, man. Appreciate it. Have a great night.
All right. Cheers, guys.
It's time to tell you what little we know. It's prediction time. So much like Everton, I suck at picking games. At least I'm better than you.
Yeah, I suck too.
How many have you gotten right this year?
None.
I've at least gotten 2 right.
Well, I got real ones right.
Yeah. Well, fuck off. You're now, what, 700 in the hole? I'm now 490 in the hole.
For the show, yes, 700 in a hole.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep. So I wrote on mine, I had West Ham to win over 2.5 goals. I wrote, fuck me, I'm broke
Okay.
on that one.
There we go.
And boom, in the cup. That's done. All I want to say about it is we just suck. We, thank God, have the international break. We have time to regroup and really think about our lives, and we can move forward winning money.
Fuck that. I'm spending all the money that I've placed into your kid's college fund. Fuck betting. I suck is what I wrote for mine because I bet West Ham to win, and I also bet Yarmolenko to score, which neither happened.
I saw him kick the ball with his right foot for once.
Which, by the way, you guys were kind of attacking me. The reason why I did that last week and not put it into a parlay was, pardon me, if Yarmolenko scored, I would still be up. And I knew that if West Ham won and Yarmolenko didn't score, I knew it would be a push. But I knew if Yarmolenko scored, that's why I separated it into two bets.
I see what you're saying now.
As opposed to putting it all into one parlay.
I mean, you were really hard on it, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But I was pretty happy about it. Trust me. Hey, look, Big Sam's lock of the week could just mean bet the exact opposite of Big Sam because it's a lock you'll fucking win.
I think you need to look up the definition of lock.
So Pat's good, apparently, because he keeps getting everything right, even though he got Man U wrong. But he got Palace right against West Ham.
And he did them separately also?
Yeah, he did two separate bets. Two separate.
Right. He has my $10. He's no longer coming in here.
Oh, okay, heard. I don't know. I might have him come back in again. And the chicken's fucking 6-2, Sam. We're losing to a fucking chicken.
That chicken gets around.
Chicken's got scared money.
Apparently you need to be betting with the chicken because if you're betting with the chicken, you're fucking winning. So we're not going to pick any games this week. We're going to do it next week when we have all the lines
We're going to
out.
work some overtime so we have money to bet next week.
Yeah, precisely. But we do want to hear from you. So, Sammy, how can people get in touch and let them know what to do?
At DUfootballshow on all the social medias. We do check our DMs. Please DM us. I know I sound like a thirsty 21-year-old, but seriously, slide in the DMs with your bets or dufootballshow@gmail.com to get in touch that way. We check that email every day at least once. You just have to have your bet in by Monday at noon.
Very
That's
good.
it.
So, Mel, did you get a chance to visit with Kitty? How's she doing?
I mean, she spent her winnings on chick treats, and you might notice there's a brand new slide up there. And some club lights.
Chicken has a slide.
Oh, little club lights under Club Cointreau.
She's got club lights. Apparently, she's booked a band in a week or two. They're having a concert in the backyard.
That means Vardy's visiting.
I saw.
Club lights.
I think I actually saw her holding in one little wing a pile of ones, and with her other wing, just like flipping them out, and making it rain.
Yeah.
Gertrude was like, "Oh, make it rain."
And then Vardy headbutted her, and now you're having her for dinner tomorrow.
No, we're not. But yeah, Kitty's getting it done. So, any other parting words there, Mel?
Well, like my chicken, always be sure to gamble legally and responsibly.
And also drink responsibly. All right. We wasted a boatload of fucking chances.
But it doesn't matter. Why?
We won 3-1.
Exactly.
We probably had set a record for indoor shots on target with about 4,700 or so. Somehow they got a block in, or the keeper saved it. We won 3-1. The game was never really in doubt, and the only reason they scored a goal was because the turf came up, and the ball popped up, and me and the other defender who were front back of the attacker stalled and looked at the floor, and he ran clean through us.
Whatever Norwich excuse you got to make for yourself, there, killer.
That's cute.
Yeah, it comes both ways, doesn't it? Now,
I guess.
Yeah. So we're 2-1-1. We're sitting in a playoff position, and destiny's in our own hands. It's nice to be sitting in that place for once.
That's right.
So I'm not going to be there tomorrow night. I've got a lot of work to do. So are you prepared to take the reins and handle everything there, killer?
Yeah,
as I know my wife's recording me, as I know you're about to do something silly.
We'll be fine.
So, I mean, I already know what's coming. You think you all are going to get one past me. So, anywho, go ahead, Sam. Make it all about yourself and drag this out a little bit longer. Any parting words?
Make sure you tune into the VAR show. It's going to be a fun, epic Rageapalooza. I guess you could say. Also, there's a couple other interesting things in the pipeline, so make sure you follow the social medias and keep those, close to your heart there. Keep an eye on the socials for that. Patreon.com/DUfootballshow. Make sure you donate. Like us if you do. If you don't, we're going to keep it going, but we'd really love a little bit of help. There's also some bonus content.
Oh, okay, great.
But in addition to your Malort, my sir,
Uh-huh.
I've brought you another liquor.
Okay.
This is called Chirot.
Okay.
It's from California.
All right.
It's an aloe vera liqueur
Okay.
because you got burned.
Oh, okay.
Burnley?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So you just have that from the neck.
Okay.
So I'll give it to Mel to pass over. It's actually very good, to be honest with you. But, yeah, because you got burned, I think you need a little sunburn remedy. Alcohol style. It's actually good in it.
You feel really good about yourself on that one, don't you?
I do. I'm glad that I have that. Only 50% by volume. This is the Chirot pints.
That is delicious.
There you go.
Kind of
Yep, they
minty.
have a few other botanicals in there, cucumber included, amongst other things. They only shop from organic farmers to get their product, but Chirot liqueur. There you go.
And there's the opportunity to slide in your drink responsibly and not just remember to poke it in at the end of what Mel was doing.
Make sure you drink responsibly.
There you go. Very well done. So, thank you so much for joining us, boys and girls. Like I said, next week we're going to do the Fuck VAR episode. And please reach out. Let us know specifics. Like, tell us specifics in your games that have driven you fucking nuts so far about VAR. And we're definitely going to talk about it. I figure let's just get it all out of our system once, so then we can just go on the rest of the season and not waste time on it. Because
fuck VAR, move on.
let's face it, we added 15 minutes to this show this week, and we've added 15 minutes to every show every week because we spend time talking about VAR.
Fair
and
enough.
let's face it, we'd rather talk about football. So
Fair enough.
next week is going to be a cleansing of the soul about VAR.
An exorcism.
And we're going to drink Bucky the whole time, and we're going to get good and right, proper, stupid. So
One more long episode, and
yeah.
then
get it all out. So till next week, everybody.
good night.
You know, on the first day of Christmas, Chilla gave to me a beer in a tree.